Hey guys, this is ThrashMetalGuru here. Now, this video has been in preparation for upload for a very long time, ever since my trip back from Texas. Before I actually get into that, thing I need to go off here is that this is basically a trip that it's not only changed me, but it's also changed so much of how things are from the last time that I was there. I mean, before all of that, when I was a little bit younger, I am showing this because this is something that I want. It's what I want with this. So I want to make it very clear that this set here, this piece that I'm going to be uploading, I did it for me. I didn't do it for specific people. I didn't do it for my audience. I didn't do it for monetary gain or anything else like this. Nothing. The reason why that I'm doing this is because I want to. This is what I want. This is for me. And this is something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And finally, the right way to do it that I have been yearning for a long time. And I finally have it. So, this is the time now that we're finally going to be looking at my home. Basically, my own fortress of solitude away from everything that that either makes me upset, sad, or anything. But here's my fortress of solitude. Enjoy.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we're actually, where home is. As a matter of fact, to start off, because we're on top of the hill, because I think you remember Jack. He used to live in this house too. This is actually another one of my first neighbors that, I felt very bad because I feel like I mistreated him as annoying, but I actually got to catching up with him in Vegas.
Nice.
And, we've settled that, and, we've actually shook hands on that. I remember this house was actually my friend Garrett and my friend Adam that used to live here. Adam was his dad, and Garrett, he was a bit of a kid, but he was a cool kid to hang around with, and kind of felt like a superhero with a sidekick. But I remember that so much. I don't really remember much, but I do remember that there was a situation regarding a bomb where the whole entire area was blocked off by police.
Oh, I remember that.
I'm not sure, but I'm thinking there's still probably one neighbor that still lives here, and I think that's Gonzalez. He still lives in that house, possibly. But over on this one, the red house right next door to my former next door neighbor, this used to be Bob's house. This is where my other neighbors, they were actually good people, and I helped them out with the fence a lot too. And so this red house right here was Art and Juana's. We used to hang out and grill there all the time. That was the last part about it. And now this house, this is where I used to live. This is actually where the ThrashMetalGuru thing originated from. Hence why you're seeing me as ThrashMetalGuru currently to this day. But every memory that we had for my cameraman and myself has actually happened here. I remember we used to be in the backyard during the birthday parties. My mom took the whole picture, and there was like a whole group of us, and we had band practice right up on the right side of the house. It was right there, and my whole room was the very middle section in the back. This house right here, that's actually where we had our first two gay couples that we actually lived there, but they were actually pretty good. They were good people, and this neighborhood was really accepting of who they are, and I had no problem with that. They were pretty nice. I never actually had any communication with any people here, and that was the thing. But I do remember these neighbors recently just moved out of that house. Now, recently my former neighbors moved out of this one, so they're actually like in another house, like a few minutes away from this area. But I do remember that time where I would actually have to go over. I used to babysit sometimes over there. Now, however, though, this house over here, a friend of mine, my friend Solomon, was the one who actually introduced me to the friends that would actually forever change my life. Because remember, I told you about Doug, Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah. He introduced me to those guys. If it wasn't for him, none of that would have ever happened. And I was damn proud to be friends with all those people. I'm damn proud of Solomon. and that's what I loved about this place, and that's what I loved about this area. Because as opposed to Arkansas and as opposed to Las Vegas, I have not had one neighbor, except for an exception of 2 in Las Vegas, ever come over and say, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome to the neighborhood." But this is practically the area. I can tell you so many memories, but I can probably do that. I can tell you more about that when I get to Vegas. But so right before we go back to the car real quick, I'm just gonna get one more shot of the house, because this is also for my homie DJ Babyboy, or Young Jack is how he goes, but because he always wanted to know where my ThrashMetalGuru theme was originated from. So we're gonna show him. But yeah, there's so many things that I can't let go. And like I said to you guys before, as my audience, I don't expect you to understand why I'm doing this. I don't really expect anyone to watch it. It's not really for anyone. It's really mainly for me in that case. But, you know, you can be the judge of it however you want. But since we're almost there, the one thing I will say is that I don't remember the tree being that big before. I remember back in the day, I was the first one inside that house as a kid. I was the very first one. Right when it was available to live in, first one to step through to it. I've had so many pictures. I remember when someone from our high school ran into our mailbox and it had to be rebuilt. That was one of those awkward times. But here it is, the final shot of the house. This is where the ThrashMetalGuru originated from. This is where it all began. So everything that you see me as a person from here, it all originated there. And that room, I never talked about this, was where my grandma used to be before she passed away. And that's the tough times. But you know, truth enough, I'll always make a promise to come back. And I think once every year is going to do it for me, not once every 2 years. Because 2 years is probably too much. So yeah, that does it for this neighborhood right here. So finally got to do what I wanted to do after 8 years. Alright, so as you can see, I'm back in my own home at Little Elm, Texas with my cameraman, my good helper, Justin, by the way. nice to see you there, man. But I thought we'd go over, because I wanted to try this again, because the first time that I did this all by myself with an iPod Touch, and that didn't work out for me. But as you can see, right here, this is kind of like an area I would love to start off in. Can't really go inside, but I remember a lot of stuff that happened. I remember, when we come down to the cafeteria area, sometimes I would like to come outside, some places to hang about. I do remember sometimes where I think it was sometimes me, you, Spencer, Jason, and Kyle. I think it was at one time we were just hanging at that one place, and there was the amps.
Oh, the ants? Yeah.
And we had the amplifiers, and like Spencer nearly dropped his drink, and Jason nearly got pissed.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was bad, but I remember that. I'm not gonna name drop this one, but I remember a time, it was one of these tables, like right over here. I was drawing a picture, because I had a high school crush that I was super obsessed over. I was drawing a picture, and it wasn't really the best thing I ever drew. I remember one time when she jumped over, I flipped out. I was like, oh my god. And she's like, what are you drawing? And I show her, and I was like, oh my god, don't hit me or whatnot, because she figured out what it was.
Yeah.
It was her and me. But that was the part I really missed, because it was at that point she gave me a huge hug right there. Something that kind of gave me high hopes, and it's very hard to miss. Now, I'm not gonna tell you, because there's some footage that is on YouTube of fights that do go on here that are posted. I'm not gonna promote that, but the positive side of it is what I'm trying to go at. And I remember in PE, all the way down to that field, is where we obviously would do the mile run, and I would never stop, non-stop. And so that's something that it really brings me back, because I used to be, in a way athletic, even though I never took athletics before. And of course, I remember when all this was when we had Shattered Dreams. I think you remember what that was too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of hard not to talk all day. I found out.
and they would do that announcement like every single 10 minutes. That's where a flat line is. They went out to the area. But I remember all of this here before. Like during that, we would take tennis. We would do the run. It's kind of hard to miss out on.
I think the only thing I actually remember from Shattered Dreams was having to wear that white face paint with the black shirt out in the Texas summer heat. Because standing there outside.
Oh, dude, yeah, I could recall that moment.
Yeah.
And I do recall we did tennis before. That was actually pretty fun. And you remember Mr. Fink, right?
Yeah, I remember Mr. Fink. I took his AV class.
Yep, I took his technology class too, and I remember all the projects we did around. I gotta find that, by the way. But that was fantastic times. And right around the corner here, I was over here about 2 years ago. From that point, because it was kind of hard. But this is where memories start to come up and about. Pretty sure you recall this area right here with those 3 windows.
Yeah, the 3 windows. That's the art room, isn't it?
Yep, where Miss Neff used to teach.
Miss Neff. I also remember this staircase right here because this is where me and my idiot skateboard friends would try and fail miserably to skate and fail miserably.
Yeah, part of this was actually where I kind of took summer school too. Because obviously, in that point, I was just laughing. But hadn't I realized if I could have done better, it would have been a better life for me here. So, pretty much a lot goes on now. I think like right close to the art room, there used to be 2 trailers, one with Coach Arn from health class.
Yeah.
I remember that far where we used to stand there. We were like right down the road from here, but I remember sometimes we used to go to the athletic way because I think, didn't Miss Zimmerman actually used to teach in this hall too?
I don't think so. She taught in the North Wing hallway where the English room is.
Yeah, because I know this is an athletic hallway.
Yeah, this is it leads to the weight room around here.
Yeah.
It's like right inside.
I used to go to the weight room
that way.
With Spencer when we would work out like in the mornings.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know Spencer worked out.
Oh yeah, he did some of the stuff there too.
Oh yeah, I met his older brother, by the way.
Oh yeah, dude, his older brother, man, he's an awesome dude.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into that later.
Oh yeah, no. That's why I said yeah.
Now it's exactly right here.
Oh, the band spot.
Yeah, this is where I supposedly was in band camp for a few days and then I called it quits. But it was actually these 2 spots, like these dirt spots right here. These giant ones are where the trailers used to be. This right here is where Coach Arn taught health class. This is also where me and Kara actually had health class together.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard to get rid of. It's not really get rid of, but it's hard to see that. And just beyond this corner, this is actually where some of my favorite stuff happened. Is that we used to hang out in the hallway. It was my friend Doug, my friend Taylor, Olivia, Elizabeth. We used to hang out in the halls just right before class started. This was like way over 6 years ago. It was a blast because Doug, he was a very awesome guy. I mean, he to me was like Johnny Depp. He was like my Johnny Depp, in this high school area. Taylor was another person that she was a sweetheart and she was very nice. I love her a lot for them. Like I said, I'm not going to mention last names because I like privacy. This right here, I definitely remember.
Yeah, the not front office.
Not front office, and I do remember at the time there was like the At the Pole event that happened here,
Yeah.
where they would play the guitars and all that.
Yeah.
And then right just beyond this, I'm not sure if you could get that, but
What, the pictures on the wall?
well, not really the pictures on the wall, but it's just right beyond on the right side.
Oh, the auditorium?
Yeah, the auditorium and the choir room, which is just right there.
I don't think we'll get a good view of it from here.
That's alright.
But
But
yeah.
I still recall this map, and
to this day, I still don't know what that is supposed to be. I'm pretty sure it's our school mascot, but
yeah, no, it's so weird how time flies. I'm not sure if my choir teacher is in fact still here. I'm not entirely sure. Now this is another area that I remember right here. I kind of remember when we used to do filming. We actually You remember Elijah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me, Elijah, some other people. I can't even remember some of their names, but we did like this Canadian Tree Man video project for Mr. Fink's class. I do remember one person though. His name was Horatio. He helped us out with that, and you know, I think he either wore the Dr. Seuss hat while he was chasing me like I was in the ghillie suit. That was probably the awkward thing about it because one of the members of the Plague that we used to see all the time, Joshua.
Yeah.
Dude, like he had this weird look on his face when he saw me wearing that ghillie suit. He was like,
This is also, this hallway in particular that you brought us to, I was in Ellier's video with a lightsaber duel,
oh,
and this
yeah.
was the hallway where they ran through when the two people that were in my way got hurt.
oh my god.
Good times.
It was so weird because, you know, unfortunately, you know, at this time I was, you know, throughout these technically 3.5 years, because I never graduated here, unfortunately, is that I actually, that whole obsession thing was driving me nuts all the way through every single class. That was the only person I could really think of at that time, but at that time I had jungle fever too, so, yeah. Yeah, this guy right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember when all this used to be classes, and I think, what was his name again? It started with an L, like Lamb something.
Lamb.
It's not Lamb Wright, because that's actually one of my aunt's friends. But, you know, I think she still works at the school, but the coach's name, as it first starts out, is Coach Lamb, and then he had another name before that. It used to be, I think he was a football coach. I think he was also originally from Oklahoma. So I had the 5th period class with him. I also
What subject?
history.
History.
So I'm not entirely sure, but I remember Coach Barksdale and Coach Grimes.
Yeah, Coach Grimes. That's who I was thinking of, but I didn't know he didn't. He taught baseball, or he coached baseball.
I remember that, and I also remember back in the day, like remember we used to do the fire alarm?
Oh yeah, the fire drills that were out here.
Yeah, we would have to separate all out. We'd be either on the hills or we'd be on the other side. And all that other place right there, all that.
The stairwells.
Yeah, man. That's actually where I helped my friend Ace shoot his little video. His friend Kelly had done that squirrel impression like,
Oh yeah.
oh god, that was just, it was phenomenal. It was actually right here. Right there. That's where we filmed it. At that area.
I guess the desks and chairs tried to mount an escape.
Alright, now this part right here, this is the
quad.
like,
Technically, this is quad 2 because quad 1 is over there,
Yeah,
where
quad
we
1.
started.
right where we started. Like, I never really actually came out in this area often when I actually went to school, but I'm pretty sure you can still capture an image.
Of the morning hangout spot.
I just got cops around, but
Why do they care?
nah, it's alright.
No, that's good.
I'm just saying, it feels like a compliment now. But it's fine. But you know, I remember the times when you and me, we would used to hang over inside over here by the stairwells.
Yeah, underneath, because that's where the cool kids hung out.
Well, I mean, I myself was the loser, but,
You were not a loser. We were all losers.
but I'm pretty sure we can still capture it from right here. But it was right in this area we used to hang out. You know, sometimes we would hang underneath the stairwells, and they put desks under here. It's weird. They used to do all that because everyone would usually hang right there. I would usually hang by this pillar over here, that white one with Brittany, and you know R. If you know who R is, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So out of price. And remember, we used to go in the elevator all the time.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. And that's where I did most of my other filming stuff too when we did that project. Is that I had a friend of mine, Dalton. He would actually have to fake a fart noise while in the elevator. And like I would look at him, but like my acting was horrible back then.
You know what the best kind of acting is? When I was filming for a project, there was a scene where I had to be like pushed down, like in a fight almost, where you get pushed down like they do. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll try my best to act. But the guy that I was acting with was like, no, I'm just going to push you down. And when I walked up to him, I was fully expecting just like a light tap, you know, just to push me down. Nah, he came up just, boom, and like pushed me down. And I was like, well, I guess the best kind of acting is real acting, because I'm surprised.
I think we also filmed right here when we did that action sequence for the score, because I remember Ace used to come by. He was doing that little solid snake run, like he's actually kind of actually run and do that.
Yeah.
And if I recall, that's actually where my English class was, where Miss Zimmerman was.
Oh, okay.
Because I know she's like, what, from Los Angeles?
I think so. I know this classroom was my history class with, she had 2 last names, that's why it's hard to remember. Campbell Wyatt? I think it was Miss Campbell Wyatt.
Campbell Wyatt. It actually sounds familiar.
She was the short little redhead teacher.
Yeah, I remember.
And then we come back to technically quad number 1. Because
this is the part where it also pained me the most. That's why we're coming back to this area. It actually kind of feels like that last day of school over again. Of course, you're not going to see me in tears right now, because I've kind of already got some of that out during the place that we already went to, which other people can respect to be a secret area. And I don't know what's about all the journals, but this right here, the library. This is where Elliot would sometimes usually hang with his friends. And I remember when school was out, we would all charge out of here. You know, I kind of remember walking out before. I used to walk home with a few of my friends. I remember Brittany, R, sometimes Dylan. I'm not sure if you remember Dylan, like Hutchinson.
Huh?
I kind of just name dropped, but oh well.
One name drop won't hurt him.
Yeah, so I remember this area so much.
Hey, I can't believe this is still here.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
You put that there?
Yeah, I put that right there. Like 5 years ago.
5 years.
It was my freshman year. So, yeah, that's cool.
So this is the school area, so I thought I'd show you guys this, but this is kind of where whole memory lane is for me for this part, so there's still some more that I will show you, so we'll get there in just a few. So as you can see,
this is the Little Elm High School
athletic
Stadium,
complex in the
the
daytime,
football stadium
and
that
it's
is.
actually full of people being here for
Basically,
that
this
long.
is the stadium that is the home of the Little Elm Lobos football team.
So I
Now, when I attended these games, I've seen so much of them playing other areas like Frisco, Denton,
the
Penny,
last of everything.
and other sorts of teams as ever.
So
This is also another area
this
that I
athletic
do
complex here is where Cole
look back
Beasley
on
was
with
the
so
quarterback
much
for the
nostalgia
Lobos
as well,
back in
because
the
it's
day.
also where I've
remember
noticed
hanging
Cole
out up in
Beasley
that little
in
stand
the
place
Little Elm Lobo team
up in mini
as
seats
their
and areas.
quarterback, which
I remember
seemed
that's
to be
where
a
man used to be on the very right
Cowboy,
side.
in the future from that point. This is another area that I like to hang with my friends at.
Yeah, a lot of
It's
people
something
can't
where
go
I
out there,
grew
so
more sociable with more people.
I'll see if I can get a closer
I had
spot.
fun with what I did. I loved hanging out with everyone here. It was an area where I felt a little bit more, more open with everything. And, you know, with people around, it made an area seem like home to me. And it's why every area around, with every angle, every crevice, every picture, every color, everything that you would see, to me is called home this way. And just by looking at it, it's amazing and beautiful how it can be. And that's why it's always considered very much my home. Very beautiful.
Alright, so we're now at Lakeside Junior High. This is where I went to middle school. Right after Brent Elementary. We'll show you the Brent Elementary stuff here when we ever get a chance, but as a starter, I remember from PE, because this would lead out into the PE area. Because the gym would be right there, we would go in, the gym would be on the left side. I remember we also ran track around this area. This is where I actually had trouble the first time, when I actually came through and, you know, started doing the mile run without stopping, because everyone knows that's a real bitch if you can't really run that well. But yeah, it looks a little, I can't talk, but it looks a lot more ancient. You can tell by the railings, and you can tell by all this. But I remember the last day of field day with, you know, a lot of people, including R.
Oh yeah, dude, this field is public access.
Oh, really?
Yeah, now I come up here and play football a lot, like on the football field. Yeah, it's open as long as you're not like breaking stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't. But you know, I remember all this back here.
See, it says it right here. It's only closed during school hours,
Okay.
and it's summertime, so you don't have to worry about that.
So we're actually going to go into a place that I haven't been to in over a long time. This is kind of really, really nostalgic. man, I can even smell it.
The tar.
Yeah. I can smell nostalgia. Yeah, so I remember on field day, all my friends, including R, if you know, remember R, we would actually have all this fun. We had the bounce house on that last day. We had all these cool activities that we were doing. You know, there were times we were hanging out on the bench, and right before we left, because there was trash all over the place. I mean, from the tar areas to the other side of the tar areas, there was trash all over the place. So what we did is that right before we left to go home on the last day of school for middle school, every single one of us would be in a line, and we would actually come one by one, picking up trash, you know, one by one until everything was cleaned off, which that didn't even take long. But I remembered that. I also remember when I met some friends who I was very new to, when I was taking like a team leadership class. A good friend of mine, which a good friend of mine had a thing for that we both know. You know, he actually taught me, you know, don't let people fuck around with you. You know, you gotta retaliate sometimes. Not necessarily the violent way, but if people start doing that to you, you know, you're not gonna be able to defend yourself. And that's the sort of thing I had to thank him for. That's pretty much the memories that I had for this place here. I thought I would never be back in this football field. I never thought that. So I guess we're gonna continue over here. Now, there was a strange time where I actually had a photo of myself as a little kid in a book. It was a Spider-Man book. It was during the time when Spider-Man 3 was coming out.
With Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, with Tobey Maguire. And the book got stolen along with my photo. And one of my friends handed me this letter that was written by somebody saying, if you want your stupid book back, to meet him over by like where the art area was, which is like right over here from what I recall, if you want that stupid book back. And of course I never got it back until like I was in choir. So one of my friends came up to me and said, hey, Justin, I found your book along with your photo. I asked him, like, where'd you get it? He's like, you know, I just found it, like, laying on a table somewhere. It was kind of odd because someone wrote me a letter to that. But I had to thank him for that because it was in choir class that he gave it to me. You know, and I miss that son of a bitch still. Him and his sister. They were nice. Now, see, this for me was a little hard because this is around the time when my brother, by the time I was starting my first day of school, when I had athletics, which unfortunately I never got into, is that one of the coaches, when I was very depressed, and so I guess someone was telling me a joke, and I was starting to feel a lot better ever since my brother had to leave for Seattle. However, one of the coaches says, hey, wipe that smile off your face. Like, I can understand why he was doing that, but I think like I just didn't have it in me to keep going with it. Not to mention it was pretty expensive at first. But as you can see, man, it looks so totally different than it was. I think this is the weight room.
Yeah.
I remember listening to Pantera in the middle school area when Schwartz was showing us around in the weight room, and that was pretty cool.
I forget what they use these pegs in the ground for, but I know it's athletic related.
Oh yeah. That actually reminded me. One of the football players was about to jump over one of the
Hurdles?
One of the hurdles, and he ends up tripping over it. It falls flat in his face.
Ooh.
And I recall laughing. You know, I still feel bad for this, but I recall laughing. And then one of my friends, another one bites the dust. Oh. So I started doing a cool trip. Now over here, this is usually where my math class usually was.
Who'd you have?
If I can remember her name. She started with a T, that's what I know.
T. Thompson?
Not really Thompson, I think it's like T.E., like Terry, or... I don't really know what my teacher was. I'll have to go back to the yearbooks. But I think we can get a shot right here. It's pretty empty. But it was right in this class here. It was actually the next one over. Yeah, it was this class next door over, and that's the hallway. I never thought I'd see that again.
If you remember this 10 building right here, it used to be the business class. There used to be a building right here. This was the team leadership building, was right here.
Yeah, it used to be there, but they, like, when I started here, they moved it all the way across to the other wing. That's what we called the dungeon.
See, when I was here after you, there was two like trailers like here, like there is right now for there, and that's where Miss Beasley taught teen leadership and health.
Yeah, Miss Beasley taught that. I actually had Miss Beasley.
I did too.
And I also had her for 5th period when I first started out there. So that's another reason, because I also, like, not only did I go to high school with Coach Beasley, not only did my dad know his dad, but his mom.
Taught here.
Yeah, and she was our teacher. Now, I don't really...
The quad has changed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not fenced in anymore.
That is pretty cool.
Hey, no, seriously, for those of us, or for those of you that don't know this area, this used to be dirt. No grass, and it was fenced in like a dungeon. Like, you literally stood here almost like a prisoner. There was no tree.
Yeah.
There was no tables. There's no grass. It was dirt and a fence.
Guess the kids won't know the struggle we had.
Literally felt like I was in prison.
Yeah. I do remember, because I remember being out here before, right after lunch, because we would actually hang out here before we go back to math class, or to another class in that matter.
Morning, lunch, and night. That's when I was here.
Yep. This is where the cafeteria was. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, actually, we sat right here. This is where me, Roy, and everybody sat when we came here.
Yeah, I used to sit way over there and then way in the middle spot over here.
The kitchen has changed.
It has.
Holy crap.
I know, my God.
Oh, coincidentally enough, I learned to parallel park in this parking lot. Which is great.
And see, that's where a lot of stuff happened to me. There's some people I didn't get along with very well, but that all changed.
Summer school, enter here. No, thanks. I graduated years ago.
Now, it was one of these rooms right here where Ms. Beasley taught team leadership in this room.
Huh.
My guess, it was actually this wing right here. Actually,
This-
no, wait, no, I'm wrong. As a matter of fact,
This was my Spanish class when I was in 7th grade.
no, actually, yeah, I think this is also one of the areas where because this is the dungeon area. This is what we called the dungeon because of the lighting that they had.
Oh, it was all dim.
Yeah, and I had an English class right over here with Ms. Lee. And I got in so much trouble with her for so much stuff that you don't want to repeat in the class. Like, I quoted a line from Seth Green from Austin Powers, a line that you really shouldn't say. And I just told her, it's like, I didn't have any intention of saying that. I just said a line. It was actually towards someone I didn't like, but, you know, things change, happen over time. But yeah, be careful what lines you quote, because they can get you in trouble. So this here was the library, I know for sure. I didn't really go there exactly much, but this right here is what I remember. There's two main areas of this place that I do remember. Right in one of these areas was, I don't know if her name was Miss Hawkins, because she taught history.
Yeah.
That was the last class of the day, right before we would all leave on the bus to go. And then Miss Beasley had a 5th period, you know. Now, if you saw the clip that I showed of the neighborhood section, a friend of mine named Solomon introduced me to a few friends, and as a matter of fact, it was right here when I first met them. They actually changed my life forever. The best friends. This is back in the days when I was in goth, technically speaking. You know, they used to hang around here. Solomon introduced me to them, and that's how it all began right there. I also remember those times where my mom would usually drop me off, usually at the entrance area, because we would wait about maybe an hour or so before we actually had to go back or go inside. So all these people, all these kids would line up, or actually just hang about. We would usually play like the wall ball. Do you remember the wall ball game?
I remember wall ball.
Yeah. So we would usually do that. I remember one time there was a kid climbing up here, and he fell off and he broke his arm.
Oh, of course.
And he's like, oh my God, I got to the hospital real quick. And that was actually the first day of that part of the day of school where he falls off. It's not exactly the first day, because it was a couple of days later, but he falls off. And as a matter of fact, I'm not sure. It's still there. Yeah.
Huh.
That stuff's been there. I remember that. They threw like some sort of clay or something on top, and it's still there.
Huh.
After all those years.
Yeah, that is the janitorial staff doesn't really care about anything higher than 5 feet off the ground.
So this right here, I know there were some times usually where I would hang around here. It would usually be in this area.
Yeah, the doors aren't going to be locked
Yeah,
here.
I just want to be sure. Like if it is in fact unlocked, then they got a problem. But I remember when we used to hang around in this floor area, we'd just sit right here though. That's the main area that we would usually be in, but One of the weirdest announcements that I've ever heard way before school started was that an announcement came on and a woman started saying on the announcements, "God hates me and that is why he's sending me the wind." And I'm shrugging as hell, thinking, what in the fuck was that? You know, because that was the most mysterious voice that I've ever heard on an intercom.
Yeah.
It was so weird. But, you know, I have to think, this is actually where I first met this is where I first met Brittany. You know, this is where I first met a lot of people.
This is where I too got in shitloads of trouble.
There's still Brent Elementary we gotta look at. We'll come back to that later. But this is practically a lot. I can still go on with memories. I still have a lot of them. I do remember a part I had another team leadership class or a speech class.
Clash.
Yeah, I can't believe I just said that.
Sean Connery style.
Sean Connery style clash. So it was actually in gym. I had to read this entire thing, and I was shaking as hell because I could not talk in front of an entire audience. But oh my god, I think how times have changed. So this is the segment for the middle school area. It's still good to be home.
Alright, so I figured this would be the last area I would go to. I've already got footage of the stadium. So I figured to come around here one more time. So, I'm not entirely sure if I remember this or not, but I remember this was the first time when we actually went to PE. What was the grade I first met you in, Connor, by the way?
First grade you met me in, that was actually junior year of, freshman year of high school.
Okay, so it wasn't until that point up until high school I met you, but there's still a lot of memories about this place that I do remember, but I do remember that was the PE room that we played. We had so many of the other activities that we did. It's currently where my aunt works too, but
Oh yeah.
I remember it was a few weeks before when I moved. We were trying to introduce kids in the choir up into the new grades. I remember this is where my mom would drop me off. And every day when I would go to school, there were some times where I would have to get on the bus for like 2 instances when my mom wasn't feeling well. But I remember coming down this hallway here into the cafeteria because that's where we would always go for that area. So we would go over here.
I don't know if you remember, but I remember the ISS room.
Oh, you remember the ISS room? I remember when it was way over here at that time.
It was over here in this corner right here. Yeah, right there.
And
The reason why I remember it is because one day me and this guy named, Jamal got into a fight. One thing that no one else knows is that I actually forged my aunt's signature on the in-school suspension paperwork, and to this day she still doesn't know.
I did the same thing on that agenda thing when I got written up.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They had the five checks. Like if you get written up a certain number of times, that's how much you get in trouble.
But I got only in trouble once, and it wasn't even me who started it. I finished it.
And I remember when all of us in like the school area, we would actually hang around the flag. We'd sing this Patriot song, but you know,
Oh yeah.
looking back at it now, I mean, we were kids.
I will have to say, this is the first school I went to on my second return to Texas.
See, I'm not sure if it's this building here or if it's the next building on the other side, but I remember it's one of these wings right here, and there's actually lighting, so you can actually see it. Not entirely sure. I think this is where Mr. Russell's class may have been. I could be wrong. It may be in the other wing.
It was the other wing. He was down from Mrs. Brown,
I think it was on the other side.
Miss Jameson.
I think it was that one.
Yeah, it was that one down there. He was just a couple classes down from Miss Jameson, Miss Hall.
Yeah.
Then she turned, Hall was her name. Then you had Brown, And then you had, you know, I don't even remember our one teacher, black lady though, nice black lady, math teacher.
I'm not entirely sure, but I remember like when I was actually in this grade here, yeah, we had Mr. Russell's class, that was one area. Then we had Miss Montgomery, that was actually my main teacher. I think we had Miss Page on the other, and we actually had a teacher called Miss Carter, who was in the other. She taught math. But I think this was it right here.
Yeah, I think they were the 4 doors down. Because
Yeah.
these were the 4 doors these first 4 doors, right here closest to us, were the ones that I went into for math, history, English,
And science.
and I believe science was Miss Brown. Miss Brown was science class. Yeah.
It's so weird though. Now, it's more than just school memories that brought me here, but you know, I remember when times where Dad took me down this road. I'm like, God, it looks haunting the way it is.
It does.
Yeah. Remember when my dad used to drive me through this road here where you go play ball practice or practice with our baseball team in general.
My brother did baseball practice over behind here, too.
Actually, dude, you can even see the rooms.
This is different, though.
This actually looks like my room.
This
is it.
Oh, you've been in this classroom? This classroom used to be my science teacher's classroom.
This actually used to be also the history teacher. This used to be Miss Montgomery's room. I remember that.
That room used to be a science room when I went here.
What grade was this, by the way?
This was 6th grade.
Oh.
Nice frog there. Enjoying the cool weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember doing, what was it? Recess out here. That's further up, though. We'll talk about that in a moment, but...
Actually, how much time is on that camera, by the way?
You got 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, so that's plenty of time. Because we're nearly, like, almost all the way around the corner.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you're able to see that, but that giant metal fence, I remember when I used to referee kickball there.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best part about aerobics class, is that, you know, we got to play kickball outside. I got to
Is that what they called our gym class?
Somewhat.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, man. It was awesome. I mean, you know, this isn't where kind of like things began, but it was sort of a way that everything kind of like paced together. And, you know, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I kind of wish I wish I was a kid again in this school.
Yeah.
At least see myself as that sort of way. Because, you know, we never talked to each other in Brent, but that was until later on.
No, we kept on, I think, missing each other here in Brent. I mean, or your classes could have been in a different wing, or my classes could have been in a different wing. I don't remember which. But I do remember there was a computer room in this wing right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one right here. Computer class was in that first door. No. Not even a double door.
Yeah, dude, I remember when this was the aerobics class, man. Holy crap.
I don't even remember aerobics class.
Yeah, this used to be...
No, this is the computer room. Yeah.
It's a computer room now, but it used to be aerobics.
Huh.
Yep. So cool back then, man. But, you know...
I believe the computer room was actually further in originally.
See, like, I remember the hallways here.
Oh, yeah. You know, I remember where the art class was.
Who was our old computer teacher? Was that Miss Phillips?
In the high school?
No, I mean in this area. I think it was.
I believe it was Miss Phillips.
Yeah.
High school, it was when you were in BCIS, it was Coach Barksdale.
Oh yeah, dude.
Or intro to what was it? No, yeah. That was Barksdale, and that was in high school though.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure if it's this wing, but I'm pretty sure that's where I actually had my other classes.
Yeah.
Miss Henry, Miss Smith. can't really remember the others because it's been so long, but oh my god, dude. I can't believe we're actually getting a chance to go in.
This used to be our old playground. We didn't necessarily have this cover that's over it,
Yeah.
but
I remember this so very well. I remember when we all like played around here. Cafeteria was
I remembered because I always felt like such an outcast when I was in 6th grade
You and me both, man.
that I just gave up trying to play on this, and I would sit over here behind that brick wall that we're approaching.
Actually, that brick wall, that's actually where I first met I don't want to like name drop her name. R, as I like to refer because I respect her person.
Yeah.
That's where I met some of her friends, and that's how it kind of became a little bit to be in middle school later on.
See, over here, I mean, this was 6th grade. I don't, the people that I remember in 6th grade here and that annoyed the shit out of me, it's a kid named Dalton. I remember Niall McGowan here. Niall McGowan. This is where I first saw him here. But I didn't truly know him or, you know, find how annoying he got occasionally until about junior high to high school.
See, actually, it was right in this corner right here. We had Beyblade tournaments going on.
Wow.
It was kind of new, but like that's where I first started meeting.
Got some coyotes going.
Yeah.
I usually would sit right here behind that wall. You may not be able to see it, but with all this bright light, right there,
What's
where I would.
What's the timing on that?
10 minutes and 40 seconds.
Alright, we still got 4 minutes left. So there's one more area that I want to record. I'm not sure if we can kind of catch this, but here's another area.
I mean, you can barely tell because of the glare from the light on the iPod, but this is the cafeteria.
Yeah, man, this is where actually a lot of stuff has happened. A lot.
You know, I remember getting a dog tag for AB honor roll.
I remember
here.
that.
Yeah.
I got one of those too when we had that, was it the last day, technically?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I never thought that was something.
Now, I also remember getting on a bus that went to Hackberry Elementary for daycare. The YMCA daycare that they had. And I believe her name, it was a little black girl named Jasmine that I made friends with and let her read my Rocks and Minerals book.
Oh, dude. That reminds me so much of the other books that I read here. Like, I remember when they had the educational books like Snakes, Rocks and Minerals,
Yeah.
Weather and all that.
Now, as you can see, these are photos of places that I have been before, back where I used to live. There's so many places I can pretty much tell you about. I can go into detail into so much more. But to make things a little bit more simple is that every image that you're looking at is considered home to me. It's something that it really doesn't, it can't escape my mind and it can't escape my heart. It's something that I hold dear to me, and every single place, no matter how empty or how full it may be, it still holds something that I hold truly dear to my heart. It's something that I wish that it would never leave, and it's something that I have to hold on to. That no matter the circumstances of what happens in the future, is that this is in fact where my heart is. It's where my heart belongs. And every single area that I look at is more beautiful than the areas that I've been before too, and any other place that I've lived in. As in contrast to anywhere else, I will always consider this place my home. People may not understand why I keep doing what I do when I come back here, why I keep talking about these sort of areas. That's the thing. I don't expect people to understand how I feel, because this is where my home is. This is where I feel like I belong. Every single area, it's more than just a comfort zone. It's an area where I have confidence, and everywhere I go, everywhere is just a memory, just ever around any single corner. And that's the sort of strength that I have, and it makes me feel better. I look back on it, and it's, despite so much that's changed, I will always consider this place my home. This is where I belong, and this is where I will work as hard as I can to return to, because it's too much to let go. It's something that I don't want to stray away from. It's my ultimate goal to come back here, and like I said, I don't expect people to understand why I do this. This is something that I've always wanted, and every time I come back, I always like to look back on it, despite all the emotional effects that it has on me, despite how sad it may be for me, that so much has gone away, so many people have gone away, and despite my selfish feelings for people that I didn't want them to go in the first place, but that's the way it's got to be. But to remember that this place will always be my home, sweet home. So altogether, what you have seen is something that I've been wanting to work on for a very long time. As I said before, that every image and every piece of footage that you've seen within this entire video is like the fortress of solitude for me from everywhere that I go. So from the images and footage of my house to the stadium to the high school images you've seen to the Dallas concert hall, Six Flags Over Texas, Dr. Pepper Park, the Frisco area, Hawaiian Falls, all these other places as well, and of course the general area of Little Elm itself has always been considered my home and my fortress of solitude, away from everything, away from all the problems that may reside here in Nevada, or all the problems that resided in Arkansas or in Georgia or anywhere else that I go. This place is my number one area, my fortress of solitude. So before I end this off, though, there is one last thing that I did want to share, and honestly enough, it was very puzzling for me. It was pretty much something that I thought of, and it took me a while to think about it. I didn't want to get footage of it because I believed it would be completely disrespectful, and I didn't want to do that. However, though, I have photos of another reason why that home will always be considered home to me, and it's really because of this one person that has been near and dear to me so much. And it's not just me, and this person has been, an angel to everyone, whether you're a popular person, a loser, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't really differentiate. Is that this person has done so much and has given so much love and respect to a whole lot of people, and that's why everyone loves her so much. And we're all wishing that she was still here. So to end this off, I would like to show you guys that sort of feeling that I have, out of the greatest and deep respect that I have. Wish you were still here, Kara Taylor.